Alrighty, hello. Another interesting episode of the Football Zone. Please, as you get to the needful, like, subscribe, you can also drop us a comment. You want to give us some feedback on some of our hot takes on the show, and we're willing to engage you. All right. So as usual, the boys are here. The guys are here. The usual suspects are here. Let me start from the bottom of my screen. Uzo, how you doing? Good weekend now.
Yeah, it was a good bounce back. After 2 weeks of no action, the boys were they didn't look as tired as they had in the last few fixtures. They were up for it. It was a little bit of a lackluster performance, but we take the result in terms of going forward and attacking. But it was a mature performance. We got the 3 points, and we moved top four.
Yeah, good, good. We'll dive into Tottenham a little more in this.
Some of you on the pod have things to answer for though on Twitter. Some of you on the pod. I'm just saying. I can't wait till we get to that.
Okay, so all right. Making his comeback to the show after missing the last week's episode is Chooks. Chooks, the Arsenal fan. Chooks, how are you doing?
Man, I'm chilling. I'm kind of bitter you didn't touch on that spanking we gave Newcastle last episode, but
We
no
did,
problem.
didn't we talk about it? I think we did.
Now you guys didn't expatiate, but it's fine. I'm back.
We expansion.
My team hasn't played, so I've I've been forced to watch Chelsea play. Yeah, by those standards, I didn't have a good weekend.
Right. The Adams is also here with us representing Chelsea, the blue side of London. The Adams, how are you doing?
Yeah, like Chick said, man, I'm sure you can tell the fan base right now is upside down. Everybody's going crazy. We don't know the next steps right now, huh?
Or not to stay?
What?
I said Poch to stay or not to stay.
You know how I feel about Poch, man. You know how I feel about Poch.
Okay, all right. We'll get into Poch and all things Chelsea. But for us, for the show today, there's only one place to start. The biggest game of the weekend, the Manchester Derby, played some hours ago, and we saw how it transpired. The final score: Manchester City trouncing Manchester United by 3 goals to 1. So the title race now looking very interesting. Just 1 point separating Liverpool at the top and Manchester City in second place. So my question would be to you, the Adams, right? Looking at the game and looking at Manchester City. I know you've always maintained that you still put them as a favorite to win the Premier League title come when all the games have been played in May. Did anything change from your viewing of the game today? Did you change? Are you changing your stance, or you still think that they're the favorites? And what do you think about Haaland? He has been suspect. He has been missing some guilt chances. Just drop one or two of your thoughts about him as well.
I mean, it's just really difficult to go against Man City with everything that we've known about them in the past few years. I always, talk about performances, and if you put the performances this season side by side with how they did last season, definitely you could see a drop. Like they're not as good as they were last season. But at the same time, I'm looking at Liverpool and seeing all the injuries, all the adversities that they have had to overcome, and I'm starting to tilt towards Liverpool, right? Especially after how they performed against us in the Carabao Cup and their performance yesterday. But Man City is Man City, man. It's hard to go against them. Phil Foden, man. We last week I talked about how every week I think we'll change our minds when it comes to Phil Foden versus Saka. I think he's going to be one of those ones where it will be ongoing for a couple more years, right? What a player he has been for Man City this season. I feel like he was the major guy today. He stood up. He stood up to be counted. Comment the man. He has shown that he has matured. But to answer the question about Haaland, yeah, some people questioned him last season, right? They said all he knew how to do was score goals, and there's a particular type of goal range that he has, right? And most times, you saw the game against Chelsea, he had a lot of chances that for a player of his standard, you should expect him to bury those chances. Um, I don't want to get too carried away. It happens in every professional's career, especially a goal scorer. You're bound to miss some of those chances. So I don't want to read too much into it. I still think he's a top striker, like the other top strikers that are around. And before the show, I was talking to Chicks about Osime, right? Osime is also somebody that's known to miss chances like that. Let me land. He's known to miss chances like that too. And now we're seeing like perhaps the greatest striker of this generation. Also, we're seeing that he's human after all, right? He can miss chances too. So I'm not reading too much into those chances, right? I just feel like there will be periods in your careers where you struggle a bit, right? So I don't want to get carried away by some of those chances. As we saw, he still scored, right? So, and Man City, that's something Man City they do. They produce a lot of chances in volume. Even players like, if you look back to a couple seasons ago, you see players like Sterling hitting double figures, players that perhaps are not the best finishers, but once you play in Man City, you are going to get chances, and you just have to stay ready. So again, I'm not too worried about Haaland. I feel like he will get his form back, and I don't think we should read too much meaning into some of those chances that he has missed so far.
Okay, good point, the Adams. Chooks, let me. So right, so before like towards the end of the show, right, we're gonna do. So first of all, I'm gonna ask you guys like, what is your definition of a world class player, right? So I'm going to get all your takes, right? So if you're saying Haaland or Mbappe or Lautaro Martinez is a world class player. What is your definition of a world class player? And how have you arrived at certain players that you regard as world class players? So I'm just putting it out there so you start preparing your mind and then you get your answers to me ready. We'll get to that part later. Okay, so still on Manchester City, right? There's this question that just came to my mind right now as Adams was speaking. So Guardiola, right? If Guardiola goes on ahead to win the Premier League this season. So that would make it 4 Premier League titles in a row. Will you will you rank him above Sir Alex Ferguson in terms of greatest Premier League managers ever?
I mean, the hateful part of me wants to, because I'll give anything to remove Fergie from that one spot. But it's difficult to remove Ferguson from the one spot. The longevity is too crazy, man. Like he will probably have to win or something crazy like that to remove Fergie, because Fergie did it for such a long time. I would even argue like, so if he didn't win the Champions League, maybe he doesn't surpass Wenger, because you have to give people that stayed in the job for a while and were consistent at winning it. Like if if he stays at City for another 10 years and he's still winning like this, yeah, of course, I don't think anybody will be able to chat to the guy.
Okay, so basically now, so your ranking would be Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, and Pep Guardiola. Is that right?
No, it will be Ferguson, Pep, Wenger.
Yeah. Oh,
But I
okay.
mean, like if someone makes it like Ferguson, Wenger, and Pep, you can actually have a debate on it. It won't be the craziest thing you will hear.
No,
I
no,
just
you
feel
can't.
like no, you can. Why can't you?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Stop that. Don't do that, man. When guys,
Wait. Are we saying this is after he wins 4 in a row or before?
I'm saying right
Are we?
now.
right now, Pep is already a greater manager than Wenger.
I,
Already, like
we're
people.
talking about Premier League. Premier League.
Oh, the
He's not
Premier
talking
League.
about all time.
Yeah, we're talking
We're talking
about
about
Oh,
Premier League
Premier
managers.
League. Yeah.
Because
No,
I think overall, Pep has surpassed Sir Alex as the greatest manager in general, right? But
wow.
I think in terms of the Premier League, he's not. He's not even close. The difference between
If
Pep
it's
and
like
Sir Alex
overall all
is
the
a whole
teams he
other
has
Pep.
managed,
okay. My bad then. Yeah, yeah. I think that
three.
you have
Yeah, he was
you
talking
have an
about the
argument
Premier
for
League,
that.
right?
Yeah, see, Adams, your team is not good, man. Don't interrupt me again. Don't interrupt me again. I don't. You cannot be 11th conceding bicycle kick to Wizard. That's like the black version of Avatar Ang. Coming here to interrupt me. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Okay,
But yeah, if he wins four in a row,
yeah,
then you are like, because one thing about great managers, great players is, and when we start the world class debates, one thing about people that are great is you start entering this realm where it's only you that has done it, or you're entering a class of where it's only like three people, like nobody else has won four in a row. So you're entering that class where like winning one is hard, winning two is harder. Nobody wins three, and now you might possibly win four in a row. That's greatness. And if he does that,
we'll
as
be
we
the
like to say, it'll be time for some uncomfortable conversations. That's why somebody has to stop him. He can't do it this season. Somebody needs to stop him.
okay. So, Uzo, what do you have to add to that? Manchester City, Pep Guardiola. If he wins number four, will he be the greatest ever? Not even Premier League now. Will he be the greatest ever manager?
I think he already is. If he retired today, right? If he didn't
Yeah,
coach another game, I think Pep is the greatest manager we've ever seen. Completely. That's he put that debate to rest by winning a second treble with a different team. That's unthinkable. He's won six trophies in a calendar. He's done it all. Anything that you can think of, he's done it all in three
What
major leagues, right? So sorry, you cut out.
can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, we can hear
What about Carlo Ancelotti?
you. This stop. Can we stop this? Like, this is a new football Twitter thing, bro.
yeah. You
Anyways,
guys
let's stop. Let's stop the
are
nonsense.
calling Johnny Man here, bro. You can't go and
Carlo,
sue. You can't sue
Carlo
him.
is like
But,
Carlo is
actually,
a class manager and he deserves his accolades. But come on, let's be real.
yeah,
Let's be real. Um, so I think right now, if Pep was to retire, he's the greatest manager ever. But as far as the Premier League, he's not touching Fergie. He's just not going to. The difference between him and Fergie in terms of league titles is a whole nother Pep. Meaning, if he had another career like he's had right now, he would just be matching Fergie for trophies. That doesn't make any sense. So he's not, to me, number one spot is not really available when it comes to greatest managers in the Premier League era. But I think obviously he's like easily the second best manager in terms of achievements in the Premier League. But there's something I wanted to touch on about the Phil Foden thing, right? Because I actually came up with this analogy on Twitter. I was tweeting at some random guy who replied to me. I think this Phil Foden season reminds me, and let me just preface this with this is within context before I get clipped up. But it reminds me of that season with Messi and Ronaldinho, where there was kind of a changing of the guard for whose team it was. If anyone remembers, like kind of those images of like Ronaldinho welcome him into the team and kind of just like you can see him like in awe, like, oh, this young guy might be ready to be that talisman, to be the next guy to put this team on his back. And obviously, Foden is not going to go on to have the career that Messi had, not even close. But I think that this game today kind of showed me that he's matured, he's grown, kind of like in terms of his talisman ability within the team to feel like he can start to take on the mantle of being the face, the engine of Manchester City because we saw him do it throughout the season and it felt like, okay, he was just filling a void. KDB's missing. They need somebody to step up. Somebody's got to do it. He's been doing it. But to see him performing like this in a game where, let's face it, KDB was awful. He was terrible, right? He was completely miles off it. It didn't look like anything was coming from him. It didn't look like anything was coming from Rodri and his long shots. And they needed somebody to kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck. And if you were a betting man, you'd be betting on KDB or Haaland or Rodri to be the guy to get the goods. And it turned out to be Foden. And those were two world-class finishes, completely composed, especially after the chance he missed in the first half, to kind of just keep his nerve and come through. And I agree with Adams. He definitely made himself accounted for in that game. And I think we would look back at this season as kind of the changing of the guard moment where we started to see Manchester City as more of a Phil Foden team than a KDB team. I might be like way ahead of schedule, but it's just kind of a thought that's going through my head. And then the other thing with the Haaland and the missing chances, I think I've been on record, and Chooks will vouch for me on this. Like from the moment he came into the league, even when he was tearing the league up, I never saw this guy as some clinical finisher. I thought City created a host of chances, We know every single season their strikers or their forwards are at the top of the league in missed chances. They spam shots. They camp out in front of your box. They're going to create a variety of chances. And I thought that he did well. We can all say tap in, merchant, whatever. He had maybe an average distance of like 6 to 8 yards on all of his goals last season. But I think what we're seeing now this season is some of his deficiencies as a football player, right? I don't think he's particularly great in the air. He's not good with his head. Pause. Um, you don't see him like attacking balls in the 6 yard box with the kind of the vim that you would see from like guys like Falcao or guys like Chicharito, like some of the great headers of the ball that we've known in our lifetime. And for someone who's 6'5", you would expect like he'd be aerially dominant. I don't really see that from Haaland. He's also not great with both feet, so he's predominantly left-footed, and you see that in some of his finishes, right? Like he kind of scuffs some of them. And I look at his deficiencies, and I'm like, I don't think this guy is some clinical, like, just inevitable finisher of the ball. But what I think is great about him is he has world class and elite movement and anticipation. And so he gets himself a lot of these easy chances where he's just able to tap the ball into the net and he's able to stat pad goals. And that's not to take anything away from him when I say that. That's just me objectively looking at the player and saying, well, you can't really shoot with your right. You're not great in the air. You're not really good with link up, but you have remarkable movement within the box and you always find yourself in position for all of these chances. He's also really strong, so he's able to shrug off defenders, keep his balance and finishing. We know when he's on his left foot, automatic. But I think it's fair to say, like, I was looking at the game midweek, right? And I rightfully predicted that Luton would get smashed to bits, and they did. So Adams, hold that. But even those finishes, like, let's be real, that was a Tim Krul disaster class. A lot of 3 or 4 of those goals
Come on,
was
bro.
the
Come on.
famous. Hold on, what's the famous Lampard meme? One average goal, another average goal, another shit goal. They were all like scuffed chances, and
Bro,
Tim Krul was acting like he has never kept a day in his life. And I'm
bro.
not saying that to shit on Highland. I'm just saying this just goes back to say, like, yeah, he has the aura, he has the presence in the box, but I don't think he's a clinical finisher like that. So I'm not really surprised with what I'm seeing.
When it comes to finishing, what matters is putting the ball in the back of the net.
Of course.
That's
I mean,
all.
but that's the easy way to analyze it, right? It's just like me
Aesthet-
saying when it comes to football, what matters is scoring goals and
No.
stopping goals from going in.
N-
But we all know there's a lot of gray area that goes in between the ball going in this net and the ball being kept out of that net.
It's hard to argue against a guy that scored 5 in a game. Like, you can't start picking the finishes and say, "Oh no, the ball is going this way." The keeper, no, you can't do
I'm
that.
not.
Like,
I'm saying that to buttress my point because we've now seen him miss crucial chances that could have cost the team, right? And it's not the first time. We saw him do it against Chelsea in the first half. Two guilty chances that he completely smoked, and it changed the outcome of that game. We saw him do the same thing against. There was a midweek game where they won 1-0. It was just before Chelsea. So
Brentford.
I'm not saying something that's like alien to the player. Like, we've watched him scuff these chances in meaningful games. I'm only saying, even in a game where he scores 5 goals, you can still see the deficiencies in his finishing. And I think that's just being objective.
Right, but I think I saw that debate on Twitter too, where someone asked if Haaland was clinical. It's hard to say someone that has that amount of goals is not clinical. Like, it's just insane to me to think that you score this amount of goals and you're still considered not clinical.
Nah,
Uh,
I
uh, uh,
think he's very, very clinical. And the only way, at least football Twitter has shown me to prove if somebody is clinical is, do they outperform their XG? And Haaland does. Maybe they create so much for him that he has to. But even the technique too, like, is
Well, this season he hasn't been outperforming his XG. He did last season. But I
last
think throughout his
last
career
year,
he has
last year,
outperformed his
last
XG.
he's
But the thing is, what do you guys consider to be clinicality? Is it positioning or is it the actual finishing action? Because
yeah, that
if
does actual
positioning,
finishing action, like
then
knowing
he's not clinical.
knowing
He
knowing
has great positioning, so he gets easier chances, but he's not a clinical finisher.
yeah,
Like,
but then
he's not more clinical than Aguero was. Aguero would score way more difficult chances than
yeah,
Haaland was.
I'm
But
saying, like,
Aguero didn't find himself in those moments. He also wasn't healthy enough, so he never hit those kind of numbers. I just
yeah, I
think
think
two
I
things
think
can
that
be true.
that's a fair
Like,
point. That's a fair point. Like, Haaland, covers up for his deficiencies by constantly being in those environments, like in those positions.
simple. That's all I'm saying. I'm not
That's
saying the guy's trash. He scored 40 goals. Like, I'm not
But I
saying
mean,
he's
but
trash. He's great.
look at finish the finish like today to seal the game.
Come
And
on,
that's
come on,
but I'm saying
come
like
on.
another striker. If strikers on my team will send it to Rosie and put their hand on their head, and you'd be like, no, he tried.
But in the same way, another striker would score the easy tap in that was harder to miss than score.
Yeah, I'm
So
when he was scoring those tappings, people were calling. I remember when
that's why I said
on
his
a pod
positioning is elite.
they were saying was one good goal Haaland has scored. Like, what the hell does that mean?
Bro.
Yeah,
But
Especially
but I'm
hey,
saying that's
Chooks,
that's a silly debate.
I want
That's
you
a
to keep
silly
that.
debate. I
I want
agree.
you to keep that same energy though when we talk about a certain player, because you guys
Oh,
change. You guys like to change the narrative every time.
No, no, no,
Go
no.
ahead.
If you're analyzing the guy's bag, that's different. But trying to say somebody has scored 40 goals, if Victor Osimhen scores 40 goals, believe you me, I don't care if he used his tongue to score it. Just being able to score 40
but
goals
but but
in
Chooks, we
my
are analyzing his bag. When I say he's not clinical, I'm not talking about his output. I'm talking about his
Oh yeah, no,
abilities.
I'm saying
That's
like
what I'm saying.
if we're analyzing his bag, then yeah, we can go into the nitty gritty. But when
Yeah,
somebody
I just think two things can be true, right? He
yeah,
can be
always.
a prolific striker, a fox in the box. He can be one of the greatest strikers we've ever seen in the Premier League already within one season, and he can also just not be that clinical. We've seen it
It's
before.
hard. It's just hard for me. I get your point, but it's just hard for me to
I mean,
class him as one.
it's also
Yeah.
because another reason why I would agree with Uzo is it's not as if he's feeding off scraps. Like the guy is getting a steady diet of
Yeah,
chances.
there's a conveyor belt line of chances
Yeah, of
just
chances.
rolling
Like
his way throughout.
a,
He
a
he barely has to remember that one game he scored a hat trick with 8 touches. Like, I'm not saying that to take anything away from him because that's based on his intelligence and ability to move within the system. But let's not forget the system he's playing in. Like,
yeah, like
this same system, Messi
that
scored
plays a
what
big
100
role.
goals in
But
a calendar year. So
I don't
we
think
know what this system can do.
I don't think
Yeah.
City even needs Haaland as much as Haaland needs them.
Facts, facts.
Okay, guys,
He
let's
didn't
move
he
on.
didn't score any goals in their semifinals, finals, or in the run-in towards the end of last season. They still won everything. So it's objectively true that he needs them definitely a lot more than they need him.
Mm,
Okay,
mm.
let's before we turn it into the Haaland debate and all that. Okay, so before we move on from the Manchester derby, right? Let's drop on Manchester United now. So they lost today for them. I think they're like 11 or 12 points behind Tottenham in top four. Or I think they're like 11 points behind.
You can't bottle this, Uzo. You guys can't bottle this.
So right
No,
now,
no, there's absolutely no chance we
before we get
United are done. I don't even know why we're talking about them. They're
yeah,
six points behind us, and we have a game in hand, so it could be 9. Like, what are we doing here?
so
It's a Villa versus Spurs thing. We already knew that. Come on.
are you sure, though, Adam? Sorry, Uzo. Are you confident? Because I think you guys still have to play. They still have you to play. So you have to, you know, and they have
You
like
you think I'm scared of Kwambala and Johnny F? Come, let's be serious now. There's no United fans on the pod. We don't have to pretend to care about these guys. Like, we might as well start talking about West Ham. Like, what are we doing here? Please, I beg.
Bro,
I,
we talk
I
about
almost feel dirty even talking about United right now. I beg, please. There's no threat from United. I've been even when they were 3 points behind us, I was asking their fans. I want one of you guys to say something definitively that you're gonna fit. None of them are confident. They know what they're watching. They know. I told you they're the most polarizing team to cover. They're probably gonna end up losing half their games and winning the other half and finishing top 6. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but come on. I'm not worried about a team that has a negative goal difference in March. Come on,
yeah, okay.
like
All
that. That's
I'm
ridiculous.
the only one that's allowed to be worried on the pod then. Because I'm closest. I'm the
My thing
closest to them.
is, we have to talk about Chelsea because Don Adams is a Chelsea fan. If it was, when he's not here, we don't really touch on those guys because there's nothing interesting about Chelsea. There's no United fans here. Veg. Let's not pretend to care about the nastiness that's cooking over there.
right.
Getting to where it started.
Kwambala.
So
Oh man.
one general question about Man United before we move on from it, right? But I was listening to Gary Neville today talking about how the new ownership of Manchester United would have already made up their mind about Ten Hag, right? So for Manchester United to move forward, It's looking more likely that Ten Hag will have to go for a new manager to come in. So I don't know what you guys think. Do you think it's just Ten Hag that is the problem with Manchester United, or there is still more that needs to be done? I've seen some Manchester United fans saying that Rashford just has to go. Like Rashford is not him anymore. Like, what do you guys think? Anybody wants to jump on my United before we move on?
Man, those
I
guys
mean,
just think, man. Personally, I have nothing to say. Their team is bad. If they like, they should change as many coaches as they want. Sancho is coming back in July for what they call it, Pius? Carnival. He's going to be in London
Owambe.
with his short shorts and Yeezys, collecting dirty wine during Carney. Please, please. United, like what I watched today, man.
I saw someone on Twitter say that their first half performance was impressive, and he doesn't know how they went on to have such a bad performance the second half. And I quoted and I said,
That's
impressive.
that's how their fan base is.
If
Because
that's the standard of impressive, then boy.
deep down, these guys probably think that they are still in the title race. Like you can never trust United fans because deep down, they are everything they are seeing right now. They deserve every bit of it, and I'm loving every moment that their team is bad, and I hope they remain bad because this is exactly what they deserve. I remember last season when they were like, "Oh, if they beat Arsenal and beat City, they are 1 point away from top." I'm like, bro, who do you guys have? You have Anthony playing meaningful minutes in Prem, and you're opening your mouth to talk. Carry somebody called Kwambala and Johnny Evans in 2024 to be playing Premier League minutes. Like, come
Okay,
on! Like, I was watching
what
Ghana.
what 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 kills me is the manager was so confident before the game, saying, "Yeah, we will show them that we can win. We want to go." I'm like, "Why are you talking like this? Do you see who's on your team sheet,
Who
bro?
are carrying, bro? I was watching
Omari Forson
game,
and
man.
Kwambala. Come on, bro."
Ganacho look Ganacho looked like a co-ed player, bro. We couldn't identify what he is, whether he's a man or a woman out there. He
they
just looked
they them.
he looked like a co-ed
Um,
baller out there, bro. Nah, you know
but
what,
to
United.
answer the question though, it's not a managerial thing, right? We know that. Has he been a good manager? Of course not. But in the same way I defend Poch, these managers those don't become absolute trash out of nowhere. So it's a combination of the manager failing and just a bad setup from top to bottom. And it seems like they're heading in the right direction. So honestly, what United fans need to do is what Arsenal did. Just lay low and build. Just stop all the yelling. For one thing I'll give credit to Arsenal fans for is for a period of time they stopped yelling. After back-to-back eighth place, they stopped yelling. They all just calmed down and they built. They stayed low
Realize
key.
that you're
They
not
built.
good is the
It's
first
that
thing about
simple.
doing is what I'll tell Adams too. Your team is bad. And the minute you accept that your team is bad, like no, don't be having hope. Like don't think deep down that your team is better than what it is. Because when you finish eighth place twice, speaking from experience, you just have to just lower your appetite. You're not on 1-1-1 anymore, you're on 0-0-1 now. You see yourself. You eat what you see.
okay, guys, let's turn our attention to Liverpool now. Liverpool, my team. Right now, as in as Liverpool are right, things are going very, very, very well. Right, Carabao Cup winners last week into the quarterfinals of the FA, and then a dramatic late winner yesterday against Nottingham Forest. It just feels like everything is just going according to a perfect script, according to how a Liverpool fan would have written it. Another amazing thing that makes a lot of Liverpool fans, confident like myself is, the team is wounded. There are a lot of injuries, like the thing is just like we're playing with one leg. Players are not, players are missing. We've had to bring in people that just had their first minutes. I heard someone say people that have homework to do the next day. They just call them and say, please come and play this night. And then they come to it. The vibe around Liverpool is good. I saw a rival fan saying, man, this club farewell juice is really strong. It just feels like everything right now. It feels like we could use our under eight to play our next game and still win. So yeah, the vibe is really good. But the thing about it is, we've been saying this all season, right? So there's still like when you watch Liverpool games, there's still that vulnerability, like we concede a lot of chances, and it just feels like it's either our goalkeeper is saving us or the opposition team is not finishing their chances off. I was looking at the midweek FA Cup round 5 game against Southampton, and I felt Southampton had chances. They had at 0-0, they could have buried. They could have
Bro,
buried. No, they couldn't. Looking at Nottingham Forest yesterday as well, Anthony Elanga. I don't know. Uzo said the guy is a dead player. I but I had some chances to finish. But what it is what it is. Well, we'll take the wins anyhow they come. So yeah, and another point of discussion for Liverpool is how possible is it? I know yesterday I was joking, and so I was saying that the
don't
quadruple.
don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I know. What's the Uzo remind me and say it's not the quadruple, it's a quadruple. Some sort of ball.
It's just 4 trophies. We can't even call it a quadruple at all.
Bro,
Let's have some respect, please.
objectively, I
But
know. No,
but if they okay, that's true. Yeah, you can't call it because you guys are not a Champions League. Yeah.
but who cares anyway? I don't care if we win all the 4. I'll call it a quadruple, and if you don't like it, but that's your business.
It's just like when Mourinho won I think he won the Community Shield, the Europa League, and the Carling Cup, and he was calling it a treble.
Well, you can call it because it's trophy, but not the treble.
It's like when Pep won the domestic treble and they tried to say no, not
No,
the same at all. Like they
no.
said,
No.
these are subpar achievements when it comes to historical. But I mean, obviously, if Liverpool win the league, like it's still going to be, even if all you win is the league, right, and you don't win the FA Cup or you don't win
Europa
the
League.
Europa League. I think if he wins the league, history will be kind to him because there's not that many two-time winners of the Premier League. So he's going to sit in a rare elite class of managers, and that's going to be a quote unquote good send off for him from Liverpool. But obviously, like I said last week, and I repeat it again, football doesn't care about your poetic love stories. This sport doesn't love you back.
I
This
mean,
sport is cool.
not when they are getting help from the refs, but that's talk for another day.
But I've been seeing that a lot. I think opposition fans and whoever
I mean,
can.
it's not really opposition fans. One thing I would say, Sha, is when the corruption works for you, keep that same energy when it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, there's no
Mm.
Because
corruption.
The real corruption is finding out how people are continuing to miss these chances against these guys. That's the real
no,
corruption.
I mean that one is football, no problem. But there's no way. I mean, let me know. I don't want to hate. It's Forest. You're supposed to beat Forest, so you have to carry that 1-0. But you
The guy,
can't tell
the guy started off. The guy started off hating and said, "I don't want to
and
hate."
I don't want to hate. I don't want to hate. But it's quite strange what these refs are doing. If everybody wants to give club fairy tale, then first. But no way, no way that whole sequence happened. And then the first thing I saw this morning was Mike Dean talking about, and I think they've apologized to Forest or something.
Aren't Forest in a relegation battle as
Yeah,
well?
the relegation battle. So they needed that 1 point badly.
Yeah, they needed that point badly. Yeah, I mean, I hope they appeal and they write a letter to the FA like this other club that I know that set the tone for
And they asked for
apologies and writing
and they asked
letters
for a
and,
replay.
and asking for replays. Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
Although I don't think Forest would want to replay that game. To be fair.
that's all you want to do. You cannot start taking points. That's
See
important.
him. See how he's smiling now. That he have won.
Pius, keep that same energy for what happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because your fans have been on my case about
When
that thing since it happened.
this was how I was crying when nobody listened to me. There was a Odegaard handball at Anfield. The referee now the line later came and said, "Oh, should have been a penalty." But
Which handball? He was trying to break his foot. You want him to break his
Oh,
foot.
I hate it when refs come back and say, "Oh, we should have done this," and they don't do it for
I
everyone.
mean, but it's good though to have accountability. Though it's good to have
But then
accountability.
they did it to do it for every single game. Like look at every
No,
They,
but
game.
they
but
do. It's just it gets more traction and more views when it's a
Oh,
high profile mistake.
this is what I was saying. Uzo. If they want to do this Ojoro Abi, just do it for Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. let's have it the last day of the season. Then you now coach us fairly. Like tomorrow against
But to
Sheffield.
be fair, with the Trossard penalty, I think everybody is getting
Yeah,
their licks.
exactly. I'm like, bro,
Even City today with the Rashford foul or whatever,
tomorrow
they obviously want everybody to keep winning. That's good. It's
I
good
need
for business.
an early Saka penalty. Game over by like 15 minutes. Let's not stress too much. Because now those refs pulled it
You
out.
you had your own too with the what's his name pen? What's this guy's name? Trossard's pen.
Trossard,
The
that's what I
dive.
just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm saying. Like that's what
they still
I'm
pour
not
down.
mad at. I'm not mad at the
They
law.
also had the Odegaard handball that the refs came back
True.
If they
So
can
and
share it,
judged as the penalty.
if they can share
My
so
thing is if Madrid is getting robbed, man, nobody is above robbery. Just when it's your turn, chest it, man. If the biggest team in the world in their own league is getting robbed like that against Valencia of all teams, then you already know that this sport doesn't owe you anything. I keep saying, this sport doesn't care about your love story. Mr. Klopp, I guarantee you, you're not Kobe, man. They're not gonna remember you like that, brother. When you guys play City next, I'm telling you, you realize very quickly that Conor McGregor and Jaden Daniels are not going to save you when you go to that when you go to that Anfield game against City, man. These guys are cyborgs. And you know nothing will give Pep more joy than coming to flog you guys at Anfield on the last season that Klopp is there while he's chasing history. Nothing will give that sadistic monster more joy than raining on your parade that way. So
Hmm.
buckle in, Sha.
Okay, so still on that subject, what's your prediction for the game, Uzo, for that particular game?
I think I can never predict any team in the world besides Real Madrid to win at Anfield, right? Um, and we've seen better City teams go to Anfield and not win, even when you guys were absolutely shocking last season. They didn't win; you guys won. So um, it depends on who's fit. If Salah and Trent are going to be back in that game, then I'm going to predict a draw. But if you don't have Salah and Trent, I think this is when they finally break the hoodoo. I just think the motivation is too strong. And we can't let this club guy leave this league, and we haven't taken a few licks at him. I think the last time City beat Liverpool at Anfield was that I think
Yeah,
it was like his
lockdown.
third or fourth season, right?
That was the
Was it
lock.
lockdown? Yeah. So I know they're going to be itching to go in there and spoil whatever Klopp is cooking. Um, but yeah, my prediction is draw if Salah and Trent are back. If no Salah and Trent, I got bad news for you, Pius.
Okay,
It's
that's
not looking good, my friend.
no worries, no worries. Adams, let me ask you a different question, right? Do you see Liverpool adding to their trophy collection this season after winning the
oh
Carabao?
oh yeah, there's you guys have different possibilities. You guys can go again and do it in the FA Cup. That's still open for you. I think Europa League as well. There's still a possibility that you can do it. But the league, I'm not quite sure about the league, man. I'm not quite sure
But
about the Premier League.
you are tilting towards us.
I yeah, because man, the way you guys just get it done is insane. Like the amount of adversities you guys have faced this season, the injuries, like it's insane. Like how you guys are still able to win. So on that regard, I have to give you guys your flowers. But like I've always maintained, it's hard for me to. City are the favorites, and if City don't do it, I think Arsenal nicks it.
Mm.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Okay, fair point, fair
I
point.
will say this: I think if Liverpool win this upcoming fixture with City, I think the league's done, and I'll be on record to say that. I
Mm.
think if they beat City, I think the league is done because I just don't think that there's any other characters coming up in their schedule that will be motivated or talented enough to beat them. That's
Mm.
Okay,
just the simple truth.
yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. That's fair.
But I think a loss to City opens up drop points down the
Yeah,
line.
yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
this game is
Even a draw is fine. But if they beat City, the league is done.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I think I will agree with that too.
okay. Just a final note on Liverpool and that game. I think Trent's not going to be available for that game. So I think the only person that is looking likely to come back is Salah. So Trent and Curtis Jones and who's out again. All the rest are going to be after the international break. So yeah, so there's no Trent in that game. But Salah is okay. So let's move over to Arsenal now. Arsenal, the another informed team in the Premier League. You know, title chasers, title contenders. They haven't played this weekend. They play tomorrow at bottom of the table. That's rock bottom of the table. Sheffield United. You know, and
Deservedly bottom,
exactly.
deserving of it.
I've been seeing predictions 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 11. I've seen one 11-0 as well. And I'm like, I've seen this movie before. I've seen this script before. There was a time during this particular season where Wolves were on a losing spree and then they were playing Manchester City. And I remember asking people their predictions. I was saying 5-0, 6-0. You know
Pius,
what?
that's not happening, man.
No,
Pius. That's
I
not...
know it's before. Wolves,
Adams, let him cook. Let him cook. We need a clip. Don't worry. Let him cook. Don't stop him.
of course. Of course. That's not on form, man. Sheffield United are rubbish. Sorry to say it right now, but this is football. That's why we love the game. That's why we watch the game. And that's why many rival opposition fans will be tuning in. Millions will be tuning in tomorrow to watch that game. Because even if it's a foregone conclusion, many people would have been like, but this is football. We've seen stranger things happen. I'm not saying Sheffield United will beat us now. Don't misquote me. I'm just saying that let's not over something that cannot happen. All right, so after that is Chooks, how confident are you of your team tomorrow? What's your scoreline prediction? Are you going 10-0?
I was going to say, if you want to watch Stranger Things happen, go to Netflix, man. There's nothing strange. There's nothing strange because with Wolves, there's Cunha, there's Neto, there's how the Pep put it, the Korean guy.
That Korean guy.
Me, I'll ask you this question, Pius. Name two Sheffield United players for me.
And don't Google. 2 minutes, 2
Yeah,
seconds. Don't Google.
Boy is there, Ryan Brewster. Why?
Oh man, Ryan Brewster.
Tia is sneaking.
Yeah, I think
Please.
they have this boy from City, right? I can't remember his name.
Nobody knows his name. That's the whole point.
You know that
My my only my only prediction is I want the game to be done by halftime. That's all. Like just score as much as you want. I need this because Pate is fit, he's back. Tomiyasu is fit. I just need maybe a habit goal, something for confidence. But I don't see, especially with the way we play. Like if you want to be objective, the only way for Sheffield to get anything out of that game is if the game doesn't happen. That's the only way they are getting anything. Is if we decide to not go to their stadium and they get a forfeit.
wow.
3-0 show up. Because I mean, you saw what we did to you guys, Pius. Foot on your neck. You couldn't breathe for 90 minutes.
Bro, that game is ending in first half, Pius. The
Like
first
look
half.
at what we did to Newcastle. And you know we're getting a lot of our players back from injury. So as much as you want strange things to happen, as I've always been saying, the hate to watch sessions are coming. People are trying to rush it too much. Use that evening and go buy flowers for your neighbor or something. Don't waste, don't waste
Don't
your
watch
time.
the game. Don't watch the game.
Don't waste your time looking for something that's not gonna happen.
Or you need to learn some Sheffield United players.
Yeah, go and check how many minutes Ryan Brewster has played.
Okay. Uzo, you want to add something about the game?
I don't want to talk about Arsenal.
You don't want to talk about Arsenal?
More,
But
more
that's how
than you can believe. More than you can believe. I don't want to talk about. I especially don't want to talk about Arsenal versus Sheffield United. I, for one, will not be watching that game.
So you don't give Sheffield United a chance. Take chance.
Like he said, I can't. Even if you allowed me to Google for 5 minutes, I still wouldn't be able to name you that many Sheffield United players. That's how. I think if I Googled Sheffield, I'll probably get Sheffield the city first before I got the club. So
It's also because of
I'm
just how bad they are. Like
Yeah,
there's
they're
no
really
team
bad.
in the league right now that plays against Sheffield that I don't think is going to not like hand like this will beat them because they don't have. It's not like last season.
closed fist.
Like playing a team like Leicester last season, you had to shake because Jamie Vardy is there. Like even Luton this year, like they just have those Niger boys up top that can, if you give them a chance, they will take it and they will run away with it. One thing I've noticed with both Sheffield and Burnley is, for as bad as they are, they don't try to defend. They don't play any kind of low blocks. These G's think that they can hang with big boys. So they actually come out to attack. That's why if you look at most Burnley games, 2 goal differential. Like they never lose games by 1-0. There's no defending in anything that they do. So if you're a big team, when Sheffield rolls around, that's the time you use to start part goal difference. Like I'll be annoyed if the game ends like 1-0 or 2-0. We need a proper all you can eat session. Edin Ketia has not scored since he played Sheffield. That's where he got that fraudulent hat trick from too. So hopefully the manager starts him again. Let him go and eat.
Okay. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm going to be the odd one out here. I still think that something strange will happen tomorrow. Adams, please keep this recording and then let's come back to it. I just feel that
all I want from Sheffield is, if you're not going to leave with anything, leave with somebody's leg. I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating for anything untoward. Just a little something. Just a little 2-week niggle. You know what I mean? Just leave with something. That's all I'm saying. Don't allow these guys to come into your home and make themselves feel at home on your TV.
I mean,
You
I
know,
remember
wear your coats, wrap themselves in your duvet. Come on,
I remember
leave
last
with something.
Uzo had popcorn and Nkobi on his desk, ready to. He was telling me Isak is starting, Anthony Gordon. All I said was, let's watch the game. No need to hate before the game starts.
it's
And
what
after half, I'm sure he didn't watch the second half after that.
That's going
I
to be
think
Pius tomorrow, man. That's going to be you tomorrow,
Pius,
Pius.
when
I really did have hope for Newcastle, especially after the Porto result. I just thought, like, come on.
yeah.
If there's ever a time to go in there and sting them in the tail, like, now is the time. And don't get
Well,
me started.
I'm gonna bravely watching the game tomorrow, and I still think that
You're a brave man. But the good thing is they're gonna put you out of your misery very early, so you will go and drink beer with your friends. By like the 34th minute, you go and grab a beer with your friends and live a normal life.
but to be honest,
guys,
I can imagine I can imagine how he'll be smiling if Sheffield managed to score the first goal.
wow,
The guy might be happier than seeing that Nunes winner.
Chris Wilder is gonna cook something tomorrow for us. It's Sheffield United.
I just don't know if you're going to like what he cooks. That's the problem. He's gonna cook for sure.
Tomorrow we're gonna learn some names of some Sheffield United players tomorrow. We'll be like, wow, this guy, good game from you, man. Don't worry.
You know what? Yeah. Special challenge to you, Sheffield. Make yourselves known.
Exactly.
This is your moment.
Oh,
At least in Burnley, I can call Datro Fofana, I can call Asignon, I can call what's that guy, Koleosho, all those guys.
yeah.
In Luton, I can call Ogbene, I can call Elijah Adebayo, Carlton Morris, what's the Chelsea Nigerian? It was Barkley.
Hola.
Come on, Sheffield. Give me a name.
Another thing
Give
is
me a name.
fine.
I don't want to hear no Ryan Brewster, man. Come on. Give me a
They have Brewster. That's someone, right? The last time I saw him play, he was getting a red card. I was Sheffield.
AXA great, man. I remember the guy flexing that his Champions League medal. Streets won't forget him for sure.
Yeah, I shouldn't forget player.
That's going to be Conor McGregor and Jaden Daniels in 10 minutes after that City game.
Don't they have a McGregor too?
No,
What's his
no,
name?
No, they have a McConnell.
Yeah.
I call Conor Bradley Conor McGregor because he's always trying to be on the aggressive side of things.
So all right. Let's move on from Arsenal, right? We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Good luck to Arsenal. Okay, so let's quickly turn our attention to Tottenham. A very good day for them yesterday. Beating them Crystal Palace 3-1. They had to come from behind. At some point I was following the game and it was 1-0 Crystal Palace at some point. I was like, ooh, a penny for the thoughts of Uzo at this point. I'm sure Uzo was worried, like, wow, are we going to drop points again with Manchester United and other people chasing us? But at the end of the day, they found a way to come back. And I think I saw somewhere where Ange won I think was it London Manager of the Year or something like that. And then where some rival fans were trolling Tottenham, like, wow. So what was the criteria that was used to give Ange the Manager of the Year? Was the criteria getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup, getting knocked out of the FA Cup, fifth in the Premier League, now Manager of the Year? So I want to get those thoughts on Ange winning that award. As a Tottenham fan, and I know as someone who is very objective, do you think Ange deserves to win that award? Is it the London Manager of the Year award or something like that?
Yeah, LFA. I think the London Football Association. I don't know something. It stands for something. But all I know is I think Saka was suits there last year and he won something. So it means something to us. it means this means something to me, man.
Shameless.
Starboy won suit last year, and Vicario was there in suit. He won the goalkeeper of the year.
Wait,
Ange won manager of the year.
So who won?
I'm
Who
not,
won?
goalkeeper of the
Who
year?
won the Player of the Year?
no, Vicario won goalkeeper of the year.
Oh! I thought Vicario won Player of the Year. So like,
No, he won goalkeeper of the year.
oh,
But
okay.
honestly, I don't know what the criteria is. These guys have only been here half a season. It's very insulting to
I'm sure.
what Mikel has done over the last year for him to not have won that award. But I need to. I don't want to speak out of ignorance because I don't know much about the award or like what it means or what the consideration is. So I don't want to speak out of turn. But just being objective, I don't think he deserved it. I don't think he's been the best manager in London even this season. Um, you can't look at what they're doing over there in red and say that they haven't been levels above at least this season. So I think he was also shocked. You could see his reaction. He didn't really. He was like, "Oh," and they were like, "What does it mean?" And he was like, "We're not where we need to be yet." And his only concern is about the team and where we are and where we're trying to get to. And I think he's not going to be happy with this season. We can look back at a lot of moments where we've let ourselves down and we could have made at least the race a little bit uncomfortable for some of the big boys this season, and we've dropped off. We're also now in danger of not getting top four with the red hot, Villa. So yeah, I don't think he can be satisfied with the job that he's done so far based on his standards for himself. And I don't know what the standards are of the award are, but whatever they are, clearly don't measure up to the standards that he holds himself to. So I don't think he deserved the award, but it's nice to get the recognition. Everyone says, we're the media favorites because our manager says mate and makes nice jokes. So, hey, long may it continue. I've had a lot of, for lack of a better word, assholes manage my club in the last 3 seasons. So it's nice for a change to be able to watch a press conference that doesn't have some guy in a wig or some guy in an accent just being absolutely annoyed at the club that is employing him. So it's nice to have Ange get recognized for something. And hopefully we can get into more important conversations, like PFA manager of the year and things like that in the future, by continuing the trajectory that we've been on. But as far as the game, I wasn't worried, and I have a lot of proof. In the Spurs chat, I was the only one. I was fighting. I was like Jon Snow. I pulled out my sword, and there was dragons, there were White Walkers. Everybody was coming for me. For some reason, I was Ange in the group chat. Everyone was like telling me this is terrible ball, blah blah blah. We're not as good as we think. I'm like, you got to watch the games with your eyes. I've been very critical of the team in the last 2-3 fixtures before we went on that FA Cup break. And one of the biggest things that I've been critical about is how we handle transitions, how we deal with set pieces, our shape out of possession when we lose the ball, and how easily it is for us to get played through, and conceding like really, really big, high quality chances and riding our luck in games. All of those things were eliminated against Palace. We absolutely stifled them. We've heard Arsenal use words like boa constrictor, control, dominance. All of those things were there in that game. And I couldn't understand what fans watch the game and I feel like it's so reductive, right? Did you score? Yes. Good performance. Did you not score? No, bad performance. I don't think it's ever really that simple when you're judging a team that is still trying to create an identity. I wanted to see us progress in the way that we're able to be mature and handle a game for 90 minutes. And I saw that progression. I saw that maturity. The attack stinks. We know this. We've known this from the start of the season. You don't lose a generational striker like Harry Kane, replace him with Brendan Johnson, and expect that your attack is going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Newsflash, we don't have those guys in the team anymore. All we have is Son. And Son's never really been good with link up or dribbling or anything like that. He's a stone cold finisher. That's what he does. He needs space, he needs time, and he's going to deliver you the goods. So we're trying to be a team that can not rely on one or two players. We're trying to be a team that can create chances and find ways to sustainably win games. And I feel like fans are very impatient. I thought that we did a great job in every facet of the game besides the attack. The goal that we conceded was their first shot on target, and it was a world class goal by a potential world class talent, right?
You know,
Potential world class talent. I think Eberechi Eze has shown that he's got talent that can easily translate at the highest level. If we see it, maybe we will, maybe we won't. Like we saw with Zaha, he went his entire career and never tested himself at that level. Sometimes it happens, but I think you look at Eze and he's easily one of the what 50 best players in the league, at least, at the very least. So I think he has that's actually very disrespectful. He's probably top 25 players in the league. So it was a great smashing goal. I thought Vicario could have done better for it. He got beat to his side of the post, and it looked like he didn't organize his wall well. But we responded very well to going down, and we always have. One thing I can say this season is when we've been down in games, we've always responded adequately, right? Even in the game against Brighton, we're down 3-4 nil, and we just kept responding. And at points in that game, we probably could have even nicked something from it. So I was happy with the response. I think the equalizer was very lucky. We got lucky. It was Joachim Andersen just having a brain dead moment and gifting us a chance, which Timo Werner, a Chelsea legend, um, aptly tucked away. So he's already off to a brilliant start. Once you get away from that Tuchel system, that terrorism ball, the blue bottle jobs over there. Once he got away from that toxicity, he's over here cooking now. You see Kai Havertz, even you see Mason Mount, he's on the bench smiling, cashing his checks. Everybody's life is great, besides actually Chelsea. So it was nice to see Werner get on the score sheet for once. Of course, I'm trolling, but it was nice to see him convert that chance, even though he scuffed the easier one in the first half. Well, not an easier one, but just as easy, my opinion. But after we scored that equalizer, there was only one winner. I think we kind of broke Palace's spirit because they had taken off Eze, they had taken off a few of their attacking intent players, and they were trying to see out the draw. So that kind of just completely broke all their momentum. And we went on to win the game. And I think that's how teams need to win. We just saw Manchester City go an entire first half and not score a goal to a very, very poor United team where they dominated possession and they dominated territory, they dominated chances. And what did they do? They ended up coming back in the game and winning the game. I want to see how the analysis is different with Spurs and with City. And this is mostly by Spurs fans being overly critical, saying it's not sustainable, saying this and that. It's a work in progress. At least we can see the direction that the team is headed in. And we know we just need the profiles to consistently get us over the line. And hopefully we'll see more of that. As far as the top four race, we play Villa next. So that's not just a 6-pointer. That, to me, that is the race.
yeah.
If we lose that game, we're out of it. Because
Oh,
if we lose that game, we go 8 points behind them, and I think that's it. We're not going to be able to recover from that because we have a more difficult stretch than any of the other top four contending teams. So the game against Villa is the be all end all of our season, and I think it's our first final of the season. It's our first really really big important game in my opinion,
yeah.
where I can now look at the manager and say, okay, who are you in these big moments? Forget about tactics. Forget about putting a team together. I want to see the mentality. I want to see the resolve of the team. So I'm going to be excited to see that game. We need to win it. We can't play for a draw. A draw is fine, but we need to win the game. So I'm going to be looking forward to it. But yeah, no complaints. It's been
Yeah.
a good week.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as well. I think that's a 6-pointer next week, Aston Villa Tottenham. I just feel if Aston Villa win that game, it's looking like
Yeah, there's no way back. If they win that, there's no way back.
it's looking like
I've been watching their games recently. They look inevitable.
yeah,
Even when they're out of games, they just look like their attack is humming. It's clicking, it's humming. They've got guys playing out of their skin. Douglas Luiz, McGinn,
yeah,
of course, the main man, Ollie Watkins. You've got Diaby and Bailey. All of these guys are playing out of their skins. There's even a bunch of
yeah,
youngsters who are coming into the team, and
Yeah.
I know, Chooks, cover your ear for this one, but Emery has done a fantastic job of it.
Yeah,
He's done an amazing job.
I'm telling you.
Amazing job. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game for sure, but I fancy us to win that and put ourselves firmly back in control of top four.
Oh, okay, all right. Just let's quickly move on to Chelsea. Chelsea played this weekend as well. A 2-2 draw with Brentford. Chelsea had to actually, to rest in that game. It was looking like Chelsea was going to lose, but kudos to Gitasis, the centre back who was
Kudos to what?
Get him, Adams. Get him. Get him.
Adam, so
There's no kudos to anyone there, bro. Like,
Adam said the only Kudus he knows is Mohammed Kudus. Don't give kudos to anybody. Please.
kind of like going to be like twofold, right? First of all, the number, what was your assessment of the game? And then my second question to you is, if you are in the Poch out camp, like you're in the camp of Chelsea fans that want Pochettino to be gone, Uzo just mentioned a very good right now. Unai Emery is doing a very good job at Aston Villa. Will you take Unai Emery at Chelsea next season?
Nah, I don't know. I don't know about taking Unai Emery.
You guys want them to cook something toxic. Unai,
I said.
Why?
I said the only way I see us getting out of this situation is we need a generational coach, man. Like somebody that is really good or at least close to being a world class or generational coach. We can't have.
Who do you want? Who do you want right now?
I don't have any names. I don't have any names of who I want to succeed right now. To succeed, Poch right now.
Who are the generational coaches out there right
you
now?
guys should have carried Eguavon before they take you.
That's the same question like most of the because I said this to Chelsea fans and they're like, okay, so who are the coaches that are there right now? I was like,
I got a name for you.
Don't say any name. Right?
No, I'm not trolling. I'll troll later, but I'm a real serious name.
Who?
And I don't know why Chelsea don't go and do this, but Simone Inzaghi.
Oh yeah, that's a top coach. Right?
That's a serious guy right there, man.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna come. He's going to leave
Inter Milan. Yeah.
Inter Milan.
Everybody leaves Inter, man. They said the same thing about Conte, and he left and came to Spurs of all teams in the middle of a crisis.
That's true. Yeah, look because we have to.
Inter have serious financial issues, so they can be tempted no matter what.
If they can get if they can get Inzaghi, that's a good shout. Because if you look at the coaches that we have to compete with, like look at Ange doing his thing. Look at Arteta. I don't know who Liverpool gets. Let's say they get Alonso.
Bro, we need to now, Pius. You don't want Emery at Liverpool.
Exactly. Why don't you take Emery?
No.
Chooks, you're missing the point. Gerrard went to Saudi to prepare for this Liverpool job, man. He's coming back with Jordan Henderson, don't worry. Bringing proper scouts back to Liverpool.
But he said he will be back, right? He said he was going to be back. You guys said like Gerrard said he'll be back, and you guys said yes. You guys will be waiting for him.
Stevie.
Proper scouts are back in Liverpool. Can't wait, man.
Has a lot of time ahead of me. Right now, we want Alonso. I think we already have Alonso.
Alonso is going to Real Madrid, man. Stop dreaming, bro. He's not coming to come and coach Conor McGregor and Jaden Daniels.
I've heard some different stories that he's already been agreed already. It's not just official yet, but we'll see what happens.
This guy is getting his own story from NTA.
ITK Pius. Pius, you need an emoji and he's saying. Like they say people can recognize when it's Pius approved.
Oh man. But yeah, interesting times ahead for you guys though. Huh?
No, what was the assessment of the Chelsea game? Yeah, before we.
Oh man, that game, man, bro. I think it was Uzo that posted the picture of the stages of is it what's the title of that thing
Grief.
again?
Stages of
Stage
grief. Stages of
of
grief.
grief. Like you just get to a point like you just accept, like you just know, like bro, this
Can
this
I can I
team.
can I speak since I also watched the game?
Go ahead, go ahead.
I would say it's the same thing. I will tell Rola too when I'm in her space. You guys are setting your bar too high. Like the team is not good. I was watching the Brentford game and like it might I don't know if it's also because you paid a lot of money for these players. So I mean to a certain extent you need to expect more from them. But I'm looking at Caicedo, especially Caicedo in that second half. The guy just like he just doesn't look like he's having any impact in the position he's being played.
But can
Bro,
we not say that he's tired? He's played every game
I mean, I
all
bro,
mean,
week. They,
Caicedo
they're
is
playing. They're playing two
maybe maybe
we've
matches.
played the
maybe
same
maybe maybe
guys.
that can be a reason.
We've played the
That can be a
same guys.
reason.
Bro, we just played 120 minutes or how many minutes he
Yeah, and then
played
you
against
play.
Liverpool.
Okay, yeah, then maybe
He played
that's
he
probably
played
a
against
fair
Leeds
assessment
the
why.
full game. He's playing now against Brentford, bro.
Now
Now that
he looked so tired.
bro,
And
that guy
then
is going to
my
yeah,
my personal favorite, the boy you people made cry when you came to steal him from us. Why didn't we
bro.
play
I
him
do believe
in
that.
games like this? Like, why is
I don't
Mudrik not being
I
played?
don't I don't understand. I
Why
don't understand.
is
He just came on the back of getting a goal against Leeds, having one of the best performances he's had, and then he gets benched the very next game. Like, make me
yeah,
understand,
and
bro.
you
I
guys are not
don't get
giving the
it,
keys to Conor Gallagher? Come on, man. Like I was watching the game. I'm like, Chelsea is bad, dude. Like it's not even. I haven't sat down to watch you guys in the league in a few games, but Brentford was dealing that second half.
bro. Second half was
Second half,
But I'll be honest. Brentford away is not an easy game
I
by
mean,
any
it's
stretch
not
of
though,
the
nah,
but
imagination.
nah. Don't
at,
say that, bro.
at the
This
same
No,
time,
is
no, Adams. You can say nah, but that's the arrogance. That's what I'm saying. Like this way acceptance has to set in.
no,
Brentford
no.
away
Don't
is not
you have
an
you
easy
have
game
you have
for the
to okay.
11th place
What
team in the Premier
what
League,
what what is
which
an
is
easy
what
game?
you are.
What is an easy game for Chelsea,
You're
bro?
11th. You're 11th,
Okay,
Adams.
I see
There's
what you're
no
doing.
such
I see
thing
what you're
as easy
doing.
games.
Sheffield,
There's no such thing as
Sheffield,
you can't Adams, you can't expect to go away to Brentford and win. You just can't expect that at this stage of your development. Your team is not good enough to do that. It's the same way I said on the space when Chelsea fans were going ballistic at the Liverpool performance. I said you went to Liverpool at Anfield, and I'm hearing when about who
You see,
cares? You're
that
not
that
even remotely good enough to get
that
a result there.
that is
You're
different.
not.
That is different. But Brentford away, any day, anytime,
City
we
struggled
expect.
there. We struggled
yeah,
there.
we barely got out with one goal there when we
Can
went.
you can
Arsenal
you
struggled.
can,
Everybody struggles there. He's one
I
of the better managers in
I
the league
I
right
I
now, Thomas
feel like
Frank.
I feel
bro?
like for Chelsea fans, it shouldn't be about if you win or lose. I feel like you should assess your performance more now you're in this
Right.
season.
Bro, what
Like,
what are
The
the
players
performance,
retired,
but
but the
when
players
that's
retired. There's nothing to take away.
like it
The
should
no,
be
fact that you got a
more
point should
so
be good, actually.
bro,
it should be more so like how is the team performing? It shouldn't
bro?
be if you win or lose games.
These guys
Like
are
the
trying to
performance was
gaslight you
bad.
insane,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? Like the performance was, but that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear things like you are expected. You are
To
11th.
win.
Any Adams, any game you win, it's not eat Nando's. Don't from this point onward. Any game you win, celebrate it like it's a title. Because this is the Premier League, man. Wins are hard to come by when you are
It's,
11th.
it's not just the Premier League; it's the Super League, bro. Games are not easy. But honestly, no troll aside, games are not easy. We saw City go to Brentford and struggle, bro. I was watching the City Bournemouth game.
Man,
Bournemouth
almost
cooked the
and
living daylight out of City for 90 minutes. And only a miracle is how City got out of there
Bro,
with 3 points.
bro.
So all I'm
All those
saying
all
is
those examples are
when
different.
when when you're a
Those
tired
are
team that has played Adams, hold on. When you're a tired team that has played 3 times in the past week and a half, right? 3 grueling games as well. And you show up to Brentford getting all of their players back. So they're bolstered by Whistler coming back.
no.
Tony is back.
They had four their center back the four what do you call them? The back four was entirely different. They had all their back four out, like all the regular guys out. What are you saying? bro.
I mean,
But they had Wisa and Tony up front. They haven't had that all season.
yeah,
They
now
haven't had that all season.
Onyeka played.
Last
Onyeka
month
played.
they had considered 12 goals. They only won one game last month. What are
I
we
mean,
saying?
But they played City twice and Spurs once. You have to add context.
Adams,
If you lose
bro.
those 3 games, those are not bad losses for Brentford. And they played all 3 games close. All 3 games were close to the wire.
We
So
Let me
No,
actually
we can't actually analyze Chelsea games like on separately. Like there's context. Like this is the same team that played. Did you watch our game against Leeds?
yeah, I watched the Leeds game.
Guy, did you see
I,
what
I,
happened?
I didn't think it would be a straightforward game because again, it's an emotional drop off from the final.
Bro, how
You
many-
you actually
No,
wait, Adams. No, Adams,
no,
hold on.
that's the excuse for
Because
the Leeds game, right?
we have
Now,
the tape. We have the tape. Adams, you weren't confident about Leeds before the game.
No, that was.
I was the
after
one
a
who said that
loss.
they needed
That
a
was-
reaction.
That was after a loss against Liverpool. Like we threw away the trophy.
But
I
that's
was
what I'm
emotional.
saying.
I was emotional in that game. Like after that game, so
So
I was
imagine
like,
the players. Imagine the players.
bro. They play for Chelsea. I should, bro.
No, so
They're
he
kids.
hasn't reached their acceptance yet.
They're
Nah.
kids.
Adams,
They're kids. This is why you guys. This is why you guys booed them at halftime. I forgot what fixture it was when they got booed at halftime. They are kids. I don't care how
Nah.
much they were bought for and how much they were making in
Bro, this
salary.
isn't-
They are relatively. Adams, me and you went through all of their minutes.
Bro.
These guys are children when it comes to football.
I'm not even look. The coach and the players have to do better. Simple as. That's all I'm saying. That's
But-
all I'm saying. That's
but
all I'm saying.
like
Like,
what,
I can't-
what the coach and what the players have walked into is not normal, because you
It's not
you have
normal at all.
fans you have fans like Adam that think that this guy should be performing miracles that they don't have in them.
Nah. That see, I'm the most if you're looking for the most understanding Chelsea fan, I'm probably one of them. Right? I don't expect miracles from these guys. I'm not saying, oh, go and win the league or try to get into the Champions League. What I'm saying is this team with this coach, with the experience that he has, are good enough to be higher than they are right now. That's
I
all.
think- Yeah, I
That's
agree.
all
No,
I'm saying.
but we
You
can
can't-
all
you can't-
agree with that. We can
Yeah,
all agree with
you
that.
can't
But what I disagree with is they're not good enough for you to go away to Brentford and expect a win. I'm sorry. I don't go to Brentford away and expect a win.
Based
I
on the
don't.
cir-
I
based on the-
don't.
based on the
Brentford are a
circum-
good team.
Brentford
They're
are
not-
I don't understand it.
they're
It's
not a good team.
arrogance. In my opinion, it's arrogance.
They're not a
It's
good team.
arrogance to expect to
Based-
go away to Brentford and
Based
beat
on
them.
the circumstances that we found ourselves, these games against Brentford, we have to win. We have
Okay,
to
that's
win.
a different way to put it, and I agree with that.
I think
You're more desperate for it. I agree. You should be showing more desperation, but they're also fighting relegation, so it's a clash of wills. If you go lose to Sheffield or Burnley or Leeds,
I
or
don't think you guys get the point, right?
then you
We've-
can be angry.
Based on the talent, you can't say we can't be angry. Based on, I watched the first half of that game. They were there for the taking. Like,
Yeah.
they were shocked. They were shocked the way we set up to play them. They were expecting, they were expecting us to play the normal way, and we came expecting them to be physical.
The back five
We-
was a tactical masterclass, eh?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it was tactical, but they didn't expect.
But
But in a Premier League game, you expect that they will react. Of course, they are playing at home. They were going to do something, and we took too late to react to the change. Like, we didn't react instantly. We knew that Enzo was probably getting tired, having played almost how many minutes. We have Caicedo on the bench. They brought him back for what? Nothing. You have to trust these players, right? You can't run the players into the ground, especially when there are no options, right? If I saw a player like Caicedo or somebody else that's probably not really played in that midfield, trying his hardest and still getting cooked, I would say, you know what? This is his first Premier League experience. He tried. The coach tried to switch it up, but not doing the same thing every single time and expecting results. That's what we're complaining about as Chelsea fans, especially the coach. The coach has enough experience to know how to manage this team. Like, you can't tell me that we are expecting too much of this team. No, come on, bro.
I'm saying that in isolation for the Brentford game. That's it.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
the whole of the
Exactly.
season.
You can't analyze Chelsea games in isolation. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't.
But you kind of have to, because context doesn't play a part in the game on the day. I understand if you're on a losing streak, if you've lost 10 straight, right? And you come up against prime Barcelona and you cannot afford to lose an 11th game. It doesn't matter all that context. You're not the better team. So you can't go into that game and say, well, because we've lost 10 straight, we need this more than you, so we're gonna win.
Nah,
There's a quality gap.
Brentford without their regulars, without they didn't have four of their back four. They didn't have any of those guys. They didn't have
Okay.
any one of those guys, bro. What are
Okay,
we
so
doing? There's no how you no. That's what I'm saying. We need a generational coach, and
So
the
so
coach
so
can't.
so what are your expectations from the team for the rest of the season? Because you're not
yeah,
going to do anything important in the league for the
Okay.
rest of the season.
Oh no,
So
obviously, like the expectation has dropped because I don't expect the coach to do anything anymore. Like I don't expect anything from you right now. I'm just looking at characters. I'm looking at players. Like okay, I'm looking at guys like Gusto. What are you doing in your development? What are you adding to your bag? Are you getting more Premier League minutes? That's what I care about. Like it's so insane because now we're going to throw away this season. This is the same thing we did last season, right? We threw away last season. I
Pius,
said,
I don't know if you're good with Photoshop. If you can just Photoshop my head on Adam's body. That was me last season. That was me at the end of last season. Welcome, my brother.
bro.
Let's go.
The annoying thing was
Welcome.
that was us last season. That's what we did last season.
Well,
We're like, okay, let's see Madueke get some minutes.
but last
Let
season you didn't have a coach at the end of the year. You didn't have a coach. So there was kind of excitement in terms of looking forward to what the next step was. I think this year is a little more, it stings more because you kind of have a coach, I guess.
exactly. Now we have to. That's what I'm saying. Like these guys, they can't get the next appointment wrong, and it has to be a generational manager, somebody close to
the
the
mood of
top guy.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Pius,
just
chop one, Pius, chop one.
That's probably your next coach. Pryor, that's probably your next coach. You don't even know.
okay. Okay, Adams. Finally, we take. I think the seventh
Don't
position.
don't don't
Seventh,
throw any names at me.
how would you feel? You see Chelsea qualify for the Conference League. UEFA Conference League.
Now I was telling Chelsea fans like we need to qualify for Europe. We
Yeah,
needed.
that's
Now
yeah.
I don't think they can qualify for Europe anymore. We like it
Wow.
was very important for us to qualify for like to win that
If
Carabao
you, if
Cup.
you win the FA Cup, you can get into Europa.
But I don't think we're winning the FA Cup.
I know. I'm just giving you hope.
Okay. All right. Let's keep.
If you guys get into Europe, Shah, then that Emery appointment will make sense. Guy can bring you guys a trophy.
Nah, we don't want no
You know,
Emery, man.
you guys are the pride of London and Europe, so you have to
Oh,
continue that legacy of
always, always, always.
Oh,
Arsenal,
winning in Europe.
this is the opportunity, Arsenal, to get something
Hey,
for
don't be calling
yourselves.
the club's name, man. You're 11.
Bro, this is the
Don't do
this is an
that.
opportunity.
Don't do that. Don't do
Bro,
that.
let's just I'm just keeping calm. Let's just wait till the end of the season
Don't do that.
and
There's
see
no see.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
if you don't have
We gonna
anything
cook.
on the table, if
The
you don't
funny
have
thing,
your
the funny thing
guy,
is,
Pius has his trophy like this on the table, right?
the funny thing
If you
is,
don't have your trophy on the table by the end of the season, you
somebody
can't say
is somebody
you
is homeless with no shoe, no sock, trying to insult a man that is on Okada. Hey, please. All I know is we beat City in August. That's all I'll say.
okay,
Some of us
guys.
have trophy. Some
All
of
right,
you are
guys.
still 11th.
Let's move on right to the final part of the show where we like I mentioned earlier. I have some questions I want you guys to sink your teeth into. So like I mentioned earlier, the first question is I want you guys to give me your definition of a world class player. What are what criteria would you use to say, oh, this guy has met my benchmark for a world class player, right? And my second question is I want you guys to rank these three guys according to how you feel, like in terms of who is better or who is world class or who is not. So I have Saka, I have Foden, and I want to add Rodrigo of Real Madrid to the list as well. Where will you rank Rodrigo among those three? Yeah.
bro, come on, man. What's Rodrigo doing there?
Yeah, that's
Well. If we're being objective, I think Rodrigo and Foden are probably around the same level of impact.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Before we get into let me start
That,
with
that, that
This
requires
is an
level of
interesting
thinking.
one. It's an
Yeah.
interesting one. Now
With
that I
me,
think
It
about
actually
it.
is kind of interesting. It's kind
okay.
of
Yeah, it is.
interesting.
It
Yeah.
is. It
Guys,
is.
can
It
I
I
is.
start?
had, I had to deep it a little bit. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
not,
was like,
it's not,
uh,
it's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful.
yeah,
Let
it's
me
not.
start
It's not. It's not. It's not.
Juice was not here last week, so I want to start with him this week,
Now
right?
you have to start
right?
with the
So,
franchise boy go ahead, Chicks. I'll just
Let me start with Juice.
for me, right,
Okay,
I've
go
always
on.
been consistent with it. World class. There are three things I look at when I want to call someone world class. One is capacity, and by capacity I mean whatever you do, can you do it against anybody and in any team? And this goes for any sports: basketball, football, soccer, hockey, whatever. If you are world class, whatever you are good at or you are world class at, can you do it in any system you are in? You can do it against any opponent, or at least most opponents. You can do it. The next thing is consistency. Now, that thing you are world class in,
That's my key.
how frequently do you do it in something like football? Look at goals, assists, chance creation, if you are defender, clearances, aerial duels, all those things. How consistent is it? Like, it's not like, oh, you do it. There are some players, someone like Pogba, on his day. If you are an on his day player, you can't be world class. Your on his day should be every game you are doing that thing you are good at every single game. And the last one is reliability. Do you play? When you don't play for your team, does your team miss you? Like, if you're not on the team sheet, fans should start getting scared. Oh my god, like, it's like when Salah is not on the Liverpool team sheet, rivals are happy. If Liverpool is coming to the Emirates and I don't see Salah, I'm smiling because the guy is world class. Like, if Trent is not playing, I'm smiling because when he plays, there's something like this. He's gonna affect the game just by him being there. So those are the three things I look at when I want to put somebody in the world class bracket.
Okay. So fair point. Before we move to the second question around Saka, Rodrigo, and Foden. So based on that, will you can you give me your two players that are your three world class players right now?
Just random or in my own
Yeah,
team.
random, your three world class players. Based on your definition now.
Three world class players. I mean, Mbappe, Rodri, and I'm going to put him out there. Bukayo Saka.
Mm.
Three of them.
bold.
Oh
Because
man.
those
Saka,
three players have shown they can do it. They are consistent and they are reliable.
okay, all right.
Bold, bold,
If
bold.
I come to the other guys, right? So rank Saka, Foden, and Rodrigo. Rank them.
I mean, I'll say Saka, Rodrigo, Foden in that order.
Mm.
Saka, Rodrigo, Foden. Rodrigo ahead of Foden.
Yeah,
That's
easily. For me at least.
easily. Woof. Okay. Let me come to
Oh,
Uzo.
that's a tough one.
And
Uzo.
to be honest, if I want to even drop bias aside, I
Yeah.
almost want to even put Rodrigo over Saka because you can't
Wow.
overlook those Champions League games. I'm sorry,
Mm, mm. So in that case, Rodrigo is also
personally, but just because of output too, like his output is putrid in La Liga. Like, even like Vini too. If you look at like how many goals this guy has scored, I don't know where my Madrid be getting goals from. Like, Saka has way more output than both
Rodrigo.
both of them. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll put Saka top, Rodrigo then Foden.
But
My
then,
own list.
oh, okay. All right, Uzo. Let me come to you, Uzo. Your definition of world class, and then rank Saka, Rodrigo, and Foden.
Yeah. Funny enough, I agree with Chuse's breakdown of
World
world
class.
class criteria. I like to add one, and I mentioned this last week, and for me, it's one of the more crucial one. I have to see those world class moments. I have to see you on the world's biggest stage, and I have to see you doing something where guys go, "Oh, he's different." In every sport is the same way. Like, no one cares how great a season you had if you're not in the playoffs in the NBA or in the NFL, and you're not doing these like major things that you did throughout the season in those moments. So it's really hard for me to consider somebody world class that I've never even seen in important games, for whatever the metric is. So that would be the fourth thing that I add there. Like, I like the reliability point because, like, a lot of players kind of get away with like just having performances in the limelight and then disappearing when the dead rubber games. And I'm not saying that should like disqualify them from world class, but I think it should definitely count against them, just like a little tick. But so I'll take the same three that Chooks had, and I'll add. You have to also have moments. You have to have moments of world class output, world class games where you just completely take charge in an important moment, or you at least don't just hide. You can't be a ghost in important moments. Someone like a key example of someone who became world class in that sense is you think of a guy like Hazard, and the first thing you think of is never the stats or the numbers to try to bore people to death. You can just call a game. Remember Hazard in this game, and all you need to do is just think back to that game, and you're like, boy, that guy was different. You know what I mean? And I think that's like a criteria for me to consider somebody to be world class. So on that note, my three random world class players for me would be, of course, Mbappe, Vinicius, I'll say Rodri, KDB. Like there's just too many. There's too many. There's too many names that I can rattle off. Lautaro Martinez.
I was waiting for that one.
See, the thing is,
Okay, so
I knew that you two were gonna get cooked for that comment, right? I did reverse Uno for everyone that's listening and all of the viewers. We were talking about this in the group chat. I told Adams, I tried to bribe him with like 20 naira. I snuck it to him. I said, Adams, please delete that clip. Don't post it. And I was like, nah, I'm giving you to the Wolves. You're going to get slaughtered online. How can you call Lautaro Martinez world class? I said, all right. But I knew in the back of my mind, my third eye was open. I knew that they were wrong. And I knew that the comments were absolutely going to just destroy them.
you
And
know
I
what?
was very, very pleased.
Was that what really happened, though? Was that what really happened?
You
I
know,
was pleased
you know what?
to see that you guys got taken to the cleaners for that comment.
Even though we're kind of like trolled, and I'm still I'll still stick to my view on Lautaro. I don't think he's at world class level for me. You know what? But well, that's
But I think that just depends on if you consider the Serie A to be an important league. And for me, I think the Serie A has been more competitive than the Premier League in the last 5 years because they've actually had multiple winners while we're being dominated by one man. Pause again on that. But my thing with the way we assess these leagues is, and it's a Premier League arrogance thing, right? We just think that our league is better. These guys had 3 teams in the semifinals of the was it semifinals?
yeah.
Quarterfinals, I think.
No, they had 3 teams in the quarterfinals and 2 in the semis, right? Of the Champions League. They had a team go to the final of the Conference League and a team go to the final of the Europa League, all in the same season. And these are teams that are even outside of top 4 in their league. We didn't call teams like Lazio and teams like Atalanta. We're talking about Roma and Fiorentina going to finals.
My
This
question,
league is absolutely. Hold on, I'm setting the stage for why I consider him to be world class, right?
okay.
I look at the league and I say this is a competitive league. This is a dominant league. This is a league that teams don't find easy games against, right? I look at AC Milan now, probably favorites in the Europa League or co-favorites with like a Liverpool. All of these teams are competitive. And in that league, if you're able to win as the talisman of your team, then I think that puts you in world class category. And I think Lautaro being on his way to 2 league titles, 2 dominant league titles, by the way. And when everyone thought that it's Napoli's league and they're going to run away with it for the next 3-4 years, they have all these young players, whoop de woo. Inter
Nobody
Milan
thought
came
that.
back. People thought Napoli had a very young core, right? And the way they dominated the league last year, everyone thought like, oh, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for some time to come. And for Inter Milan to bounce back from the disappointment of losing their coach in Conte, kind of trying to find their way with Inzaghi last season, and bouncing back to be at the top of the league again.
Can
Yeah.
you guys see me?
If you're
Surprised.
silly, you might throw Ollie Watkins in there.
Adams, can you see me or hear me?
What? Yeah, we can hear you. I think we're about to wrap up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so okay, who did you rank? Adams, I didn't get who you
I think
ranked as Saka, Foden, and Rodrigo.
Oh, I ranked Foden last. I put Rodrigo second.
Wow, and Saka number 1. Oh,
I had the same as him, but I flipped it. Rodrigo first, Saka second, and then Foden third.
But
wow.
I don't think I got to talk about my own world class
Yeah, definition. Yeah.
criteria. I feel like world class, right? I feel like the players or the football does the ranking for us more than the fans, right? Like every single. So if you're top five in your position, if you're considered to be top five in your position, that's elite level. That's world class level. Like if you're considered to be top five, top 10 in your position in the entire world. And I don't mean, of course, if you're playing Europa League, you can't be considered top five in your league because that's not the world class level. Like that's not world level, right? So if you're considered top five in your league, top 10 in your position in the world, it doesn't matter the aesthetics. It doesn't matter the stats, whatever it is. I think you're elite level. The only other thing is consistency. Have you been considered that for long enough to be world class? Like, have you been in those conversations long enough? Right? If you're just being considered top five in your position for one season, that's not enough. Like you have to do it over multiple seasons. So once you're being considered top five or top 10 in your position in the world consistently over multiple seasons, that's enough to be world class.
Okay, fair enough, fair point, fair point. All right, guys, we have almost come to the end of the show. Just one final thing before we end. Some Champions League second leg games coming up this midweek, right? So I just want to get you guys' prediction on who is going to go through. I don't know, Uzo, can you hear me? I can't see you, but I don't know if you can hear
We
me.
can hear. We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay,
I guess. Yeah.
you can hear me,
Yeah.
right?
Uzo is just. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So let me start with you. So like Bayern versus Lazio, like so Bayern is down 1-0 from the first leg. Do you think
I
Bayern,
think Bayern, PSG, City, and Madrid all go through by the end of the week.
PSG, City, and Madrid? Adams, do you
Yeah.
have a contrary view?
I think I agree with him. I agree with
Yeah, I
him.
don't think Lazio can go do it in Germany. It's different.
Yeah. I don't think so too.
They're only down by one goal.
Uh,
And Lazio just had a scary 3 red card game on Saturday against AC Milan. So
uh, okay. And you don't think Leipzig can shock Madrid?
That's
no
not
be,
happening.
no be only shock. This Pius guy, man. First, he's waiting for Sheffield to win.
You
Arsenal now
guys are,
he's saying,
If Pius has his way, man, there will be no
"Oh,
big teams. Everybody will
if
just be beating each
if
other.
Pius was writing the script, man, we might see Blackburn in the Champions League final. So that
Blackburn,
really
Blackburn versus Liverpool every
strange,
season.
you
strange
guys,
things will really happen.
you guys don't want to add spice to your predictions. Well, me, I'm going to spice my own up. Like I said earlier, Sheffield United is getting something tomorrow. In those Champions League fixtures, right? Somebody's going to there's going to be a shock. I am either
I,
Bayern.
I think I think Bayern are out. I think Bayern are out.
We'll see.
I just think things are so bad in the dressing room right now, and leaks came out saying that if he loses this game, he's done for the season.
Yeah.
So um, I don't know. I think that kind of pressure, coupled with the fact that they don't look like they're coached on the field, they look out of sorts. It looks like now confirmed they've lost the league. I just think vibes could be really, really, really poor in that return leg, and I think Lazio can capitalize from that. But you never know. What's the score now? Is 1-1, right, on aggregate,
One
or are
up.
they down?
One
1-0.
One
zero,
up.
they're down one goal.
Yeah. And same
I
thing with
don't know.
Madrid Leipzig, 1-0 as well. Very tight game. I
Hey,
think
Sir,
people believe-
Harold Kane, we are watching you, brother.
something is going to happen with one of
Mr. Harold Kane,
All
we are
right.
watching you. This is your moment.
Okay, guys. We've come to the end of the episode for today. Guys, thank you so much for taking our time to join. Really appreciate. So as usual, please do the needful, like, subscribe, drop us a comment. Please, we want to hear what you have to say. We also want to hear your views on the ranking. Saka, Rodrigo, and Foden. At first, it was looking at it was straightforward, but it wasn't straightforward.
Yeah. It was tricky. That
Was
was a tricky one.
it Rodrigo? Because I know I saw the argument on Twitter and people were like, Rodrigo ahead of Saka. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Peace.
Thank you.